Yeah, good evening. Today is November 7th, 2024, and it's been quite an interesting night with our vehicles, to say the least. Um, we had some parent-teacher conference meetings tonight, and Andrea took her car out with Samuel, and I stayed at home with Victor, and did the parent-teacher meetings or whatever. And the assignment was that Victor and I were going to go out and get some dinner. So we ordered some Waffle House online and then headed down to the Waffle House just right down the road with Victor and the top down in the a little Saab convertible here, as you can see. And we enjoyed a little cruising around. We actually got there a little early, so we went ahead and played around with the car a little bit. And then running great tonight. We were having a blast getting into the turbo and stuff like that. Well, we, once the time our food was ready came about, went ahead and dropped into there and grabbed our food. I said, let's go put a little splash of gas in the car. So we head up the road about halfway, almost home. I got a little 7-Eleven on the corner. Stopped there and put about 6 or 7 gallons in the little car here. And then it wouldn't start. So completely dead. And what had happened was the clamp on the battery's down in this corner of the car here. Might be able to pop the hood and show it, but that battery clamp was just a little knackered. But didn't take much to get it going. But didn't have any tools with me, so I couldn't do anything. But I had my phone with me, and Andrea I knew was at home, so I said, hey, can you come up to the 7-Eleven, pick us up, and from there we can eat dinner. So, and I can show you that battery down there. Let's flip the phone over here. See, it's not looking so good right now. But that was just. Anyway, flip back over here so you can see me. She came up and she was driving her car. And she turned the motor off and grabbed our dinner and grabbed me and Victor. Then it wouldn't start. Okay, so thankfully we weren't too far from home. So we just grabbed our dinner and set out on foot and walked back to the house here. And then I grabbed the tools and some jumper cables and some other stuff and hopped in the Suburban there and drive back over there. So we now had 3 cars at 7-Eleven. And but all I had to do for this car was tighten the battery clamp down and got it back started. Then I went over to her car and I noticed that the battery, I was thinking the battery was bad because it was starting slow and weak, and you turn the key and it just would die. So I checked it. I had 11.5 volts on the battery. I was like, battery might not be bad. Let's just try jump starting it. So I jump started it with the Suburban over here and started pulling some serious juice. And it did, and it lit up, started running again. So I drove it back to the house and then had Andrea hop in and drove back over there. And I said, okay, let's go get the Saab, and then you can drive me back and we'll do it again and get the Suburban back. So she hopped in it, and on the second round she was noticing everything shutting down in the car. The power steering was out, the radio went out, lights were getting a little dim. Well, I got up to the 7-Eleven and had 11.3 volts on, so I think I figured out what was going on. We're not getting any charging from the alternator. Well, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I think it was. She pulled in home. And I've noticed the car's been making a little squeaking noise for a couple of weeks now. And I've been trying to figure out where that was coming from. Well, I noticed a burnt plastic smell. And I smelled it that night, but couldn't smell it again. Well, I think this car was running off of battery power for a solid week. And we were driving it all over the place. I drove it over to my parents' house Tuesday, drove it to the grocery store. She's been driving it back and forth to work. I think she, Monday, drove it over to her parents' house over in Mechanicsville. I mean, we've been driving this car around a lot. So I can't complain about the way Volkswagen cars handle not having any power. Part of it is that I put a decent nap in this thing, probably about 2 years ago, and this thing is still soaking up a charge. It's up to 12.6 volt. This battery got flattened pretty hard, but now I gotta dig up an alternator for it, and hopefully we'll be able to get this car back going again over the weekend and be safe and reliable again. But we just had a pretty crazy night with that. Over and out.